So I want to take a couple of minutes today and talk about crisis management. It is very difficult in our line of work and in our careers to avoid crisis of some sort at some point in time. So all of us at some point or another will face a crisis in our job situation. And I think it's important to understand how it is that we need to approach it in order to best be able to address it. So I have 6 simple steps that I want to just give you today, and I think that if you follow those steps, it will really help to avoid small problems becoming big problems. So the first one is that we identify the problem quickly. A lot of times, some of us will see a problem and we become immobilized with fear. We're afraid that we're going to get in trouble or we're going to look bad, and so we ignore it and hope that it goes away, or we just try to avoid it. And 9 times out of 10, it's not going to get any better on its own. It is going to get worse, and so we need to be able to address it head on. And so I think the second step is really important, is to bring everybody together into a room that has either touched that problem or has the ability to give you good counsel about that problem. And when you get everybody into the room, then I think step 3 is that we need to communicate honestly about that problem. A lot of times in those meetings, we can dance around the problem and we can try to avoid it. We don't want to look bad. We get defensive. And this is one of those, you can't go around it. You can't go under it. You got to go right through it. And you have to address it openly and honestly in order to be able to get to a solution that is based on the real facts of the situation that you're facing. Step number 4 is that in that room, before you leave, you create an action plan. You figure out how it is that you're going to tackle this problem, and that you have very clear steps that have to be taken with accountabilities so that everybody knows what their part is that they're going to play and what they're going to be accountable for delivering. And step 5 is equally as important, is that we have to address the situation with a sense of urgency. Whatever is your action step that you need to take, the part that you're going to play in resolving that conflict, that situation, that crisis, that needs to be handled with a sense of urgency, because the more that we can handle a problem swiftly, the greater the chances are to resolve it before it becomes an even bigger issue. And then the last one is with our investors or with management or whoever it is that you're accountable to, that you need to communicate regularly. You need to communicate regularly what the steps are that you're taking, what are the action steps that you're doing. Even if you don't have anything to communicate at this point, tell them you don't have anything to communicate at this point, but this is what you're doing. It's the first thing on your mind. It's the most important thing that you're doing is in order to resolve that issue. I think that if we can take these 6 steps and really own them, and when we have a crisis, we're not going to stick our heads in the sand and pretend like it's not there. We're going to openly and honestly address the situation without fear of being lambasted or looking bad or being defensive. We don't need any of that. We just need people who can work together in a synergistic, collaborative way to create solutions to the problems that we face, because all of us, at one time or another, we're going to face that crisis, and we're going to need each other to be able to get through it.